Welcome to the Explainer. So, have you ever been completely ambushed by a casual greeting? I mean, picture this. You're just trying to get your morning coffee, minding your own business, and suddenly a coworker walks in and hits you with a super breezy, "Hey, what's new?" And immediately, your mind just completely blanks. Your heart races, the gears in your head literally grind to a halt, and you suddenly forget how to speak human. Well, listen. You are absolutely not alone. Today, we're breaking down the absolute best way to stop that small talk freeze dead in its tracks. We are going to transform that awkward panic into a really smooth, effortless conversation using this concept called the verbal handshake. It is incredibly effective. So grab a notepad and let's just jump right in. Okay, let's dive into this by looking at a real, highly relatable, and honestly, slightly painful break room disaster. This happened to a language learner named Akos. So Akos was just hanging out in the break room and a coworker simply asked, "Hey Akos, what's new?" His actual response? "Nothing is new. My life is exactly the same as yesterday." Yikes. Now just imagine the heavy silence that followed that one. His coworker literally just stared at him for a second and then slowly walked away without a single word. Poof. Gone. Now, sure, it's pretty funny in hindsight, but in the moment, totally devastating. But here's the good news. This is not Akos's fault. And hey, if you've done something like this, it is not your fault either. This is just a classic intermediate English drap. Now, the cognitive reframe we absolutely have to make here is crucial. When someone says, "What's new?" or "How's it going?" we tend to panic, right? Because our brain immediately files it under literal request. We think they want a detailed, point-by-point status report of our entire lives. But that is completely false. These phrases are actually just social openers. They're the conversational equivalent of giving a little wave. They are a verbal handshake. It's really just a polite way for someone to say, "Hey, I see you, and I'm friendly." Nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, expects a full life update. You don't need to give them a literal status report. You just need to return the handshake. Section 1. The blueprint. Answer plus add. So let's talk about how we actually do this. We're going to use this remarkably simple, highly actionable two-step solution. Step 1 is the answer. You literally just need a short, relaxed phrase. Something completely standard like, "Not much, just the usual," or "Can't complain." Boom, that covers the basic polite response. Then we move right to step 2, the add. You just attach one tiny, super low-stakes detail. For example, "Just surviving Monday," or maybe "Just running on coffee today." And you know what? That is the entire formula. Answer plus add. It's the perfect balance because it acknowledges the greeting politely, provides just enough flavor to sound friendly, and completely prevents you from oversharing or, totally panicking. Now, knowing a formula in theory and actually saying it out loud under pressure, yeah, those are two very different things. So let's look at how Akos put this to the test with his tutor, Chloe. The practice prompt here is super simple. "Hey Akos, how's it going?" Just a standard, everyday greeting. Let's see what happens when our brains try to process this in real time. Oof. Okay, so in his first attempt, he said, "It is going in a forward direction. I woke up this morning and, man, this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when we get stuck in our own heads." Akos completely froze up and went right back to overthinking the grammar and searching for the literal, factual truth of his morning. If you ever find yourself doing this, I really want to reassure you, it is incredibly normal. When we learn a new language, we are trained to be so precise. But small talk, it's not about precision at all. It's about rhythm. You basically have to shut off the part of your brain that's analyzing the technical truth. So, after a quick reset, Akos tried round 2 with the prompt, "Hey, what's up?" And you guys, he absolutely nailed it. He goes, "Not much, just trying to survive until Friday." Do you see how perfectly that follows our blueprint? Not much is the short, relaxed answer. Just trying to survive until Friday is the tiny, totally relatable ad. It sounds so completely natural, it sounds conversational, and most importantly, it immediately makes him sound like a relaxed, relatable human being rather than a robot reading off a weather report. And this brings us to the final practice round, which honestly is just absolute perfection. The prompt was, "How have you been?" And Akos responded with, "Pretty good, actually. Just been keeping busy, avoiding break rooms mostly." This is masterful. I mean, he used the answer plus add formula, sure, but he injected a little bit of personal humor based on his previous break room trauma. By adding that funny, slightly self-deprecating detail, he doesn't just return the verbal handshake, he actually throws the door wide open for a genuine social connection. The coworker can now laugh and say, "Oh man, I know the feeling." And that right there, that is the ultimate goal of small talk. All right, section 2, the echo challenge. Watching someone else succeed is great. But now it is time for you to practice out loud. This is where you, the viewer, are going to practice this formula out loud with me right now. To build real fluency, your mouth actually needs to get used to making these sounds, so the muscle memory kicks in way before the panic does. So I'm going to read the question, and I want you to literally speak these model answers out loud wherever you are. Ready? Question 1. Hey, what's new? Go ahead, say it out loud. Not much, just finally got my coffee order right. Excellent. Okay, let's do round 2. How's it going? Say it with me now. Can't complain, just trying to get through the week. Perfect. All right, last one, let's add a bounce back. What have you been up to? Honestly, just the usual. How about you? Fantastic. Look, if you actually spoke those out loud just now, you are actively building the repetition where real fluency happens. Great job. So as we wrap up today's explainer, I really want to leave you with a direct challenge. The very next time you walk into the break room or join a Zoom call and someone tosses that verbal handshake your way, I want you to be totally ready. Just remember the blueprint. Don't overthink the literal truth. Just give a short answer, add one tiny detail, and just watch how smoothly the conversation flows. Building a daily 5-minute fluency habit like this will completely transform your confidence, for sure. But I do have a final question for you to chew on. Once you have successfully returned that verbal handshake and the ice is broken, do you actually know how to smoothly exit that conversation without making it super awkward all over again? Think about it. We'll tackle that exact problem next time. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer, and keep practicing.